Alright, well, this one's our bad.
Yeah, we got really busy in June.
Yeah, a lot of things happened at the end, and so now we've only just gotten up to the point to finally talk about the end of E3.
Yes, we have Sony, Nintendo, and our final discussions.
Yeah, so you've all heard, gotten sick and tired of all the E3 discussions, so we're going to try and be as blunt as we can. Sony obviously has a lot to talk about, so let's just get right into it.
Yes, their conference ran for like an hour and 40 minutes, and as always, Sony drags.
Yeah.
It's a marathon.
Yeah, we expected there to be some really significant announcements because of something like, you know, having 40 movie theaters to display it all and have exclusive content afterwards.
There was some big announcements, but again, there were some spots where it got really slow.
I would say this is an example of someone running really fast, getting tired, and then kind of getting their second wind almost at the very end of the race.
Yes, and makes us feel tired.
It makes us feel tired, and we're sitting down the whole time. so first things first, they do a trailer for Destiny.
Yes, this is basically their Halo. In fact, it's made by the people who made Halo.
Yeah, but they're not published by Sony. It's being published by Activision. So, kind of interesting that Activision's game is being pushed as heavily as it is, but I guess since Microsoft's pushing Call of Duty, they might as well get Destiny.
Yes.
So the game, they put a lot of this exclusive DLC content, you know, exclusive multiplayer mode.
And they also announced a new bundle, a white
Yeah.
PlayStation 4 with Destiny and 30 days of PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, I mean, it looks great. I felt that some of the character design's a bit over-designed, if you know what I mean. And we didn't really see any. There was really no gameplay element, and we know it's good.
It's all gameplay, but it's just all cinematic stuff.
Yeah, and we know that there's some multiplayer online focus that's kind of like the big focus of it. So if you want to play a single player experience, this might not be the game for you. But then again, Call of Duty is not about the story, is it?
No, it's not. Now here's another game they announced, or at least they had announced, and they finally showed it off to us, and that was The Order 1886.
They really showed it off. They showed off that good 2-minute gameplay footage.
The problem I had with this was it looked like the player had no interaction with... Okay, it had interaction, but no input to the game. If the game was going to happen, you're going to get jumped by this werewolf guy, no matter how many times you shot at it.
Yeah.
Or you had to press this button to drink this vial, and then again, you're shooting at him, but nothing's happening.
Why would they have a QuickTime event to drink a vial?
Why would they?
Well, that made me laugh a lot when I saw that.
What bothered me about it was that no matter what the player did, it was going to happen.
Yeah, so that was more like to kind of show how strong the werewolves were, more so than actually show the game experience.
So I want to see actual gameplay. I mean, that may be an actual gameplay, but I want to see where the player actually has input to the game.
Yeah, I mean, they showed the game off earlier in the month as well, so that or in the last month. But yeah, it being delayed into February and all that. So. Yeah. It looked nice. But the gameplay demo didn't really convince me.
No.
Then they showed off, like I had guessed, a new studio called Pixel Opus, which is comprised of some student developers from Carnegie Mellon and another developer. I can't remember the exact location. But they showed off a game called Entwined.
Yeah, so you play as a bird and a fish, and you're in love, and you fly through these colors, and at the end you become a dragon.
Yeah, I don't understand where that comes from, but they're apparently going through 9 life cycles, which essentially means there's 9 levels. And it looks beautiful, music's great, and then they said it's available now.
For $10.
So why are we talking about it? The game's out now.
Well, I think what's kind of weird here was that they announced it and then no one had a chance to review it. So people just went out and bought it. And here it's like the ideas sound, but they didn't expand on it.
Essentially what you saw at that press conference was pretty much the game. There was nothing surprising about the game after that point. So it's read the reviews.
It doesn't replace Journey at all.
Yeah. So then, this was a bit surprising announcement. Infamous Second Son's a great game developed by Sucker Punch. And Sucker Punch announced they're going to have standalone DLC called Infamous First Light.
Yes, this is a campaign where you play as Fetch, the neon light person you meet in the main game.
Yeah.
And what's cool about this is this campaign you can actually buy separately and play it by itself if you don't own the other game. So yeah, if you like that character when you're watching the game, you're like, I want that character. And they think, okay, let's make a game off of this character. So that's what they did. That was cool and unexpected. And I like seeing more of that game because that game was very good.
And then when they were done with that, they immediately showed off the logo for Little Big Planet 3.
This was a shock, too. Well
it wasn't really. I saw the game, and it was kind of being hinted that Sumo Digital was making it, which, by the way, they are.
We thought it was coming to PlayStation 3. It still is. But it's coming out for PlayStation 4 as well.
Yeah.
And they announced 4 new characters. 3 new characters. 3 new characters. There's 4 characters now. And there's Oddsock, and there's this bird, and then there's Toggle.
So you have a character that can change size and weight, and you have a character who can climb up walls and runs fast, and another character that can pick people up. And I guess Sackboy is the character
whose weapons.
He
can climb. You can climb now. the problem with this demo, I think it ran for like 6 minutes. They played it. It shows everything wrong with Little Big Planet, where the physics are a little off and the jumping is really weird, and just it all shows off everything. So if
it shows the good and bad.
And I'm also concerned that the stage required all 4 playable characters at once, because if you didn't have one of the characters, you wouldn't be able to get past an obstacle.
Yeah,
and maybe just because the demo was designed that way, but hopefully you can still play by yourself and don't need to have 4 players playing at once.
I'm going to guess that the game is going to when people create the levels, they're going to say you need these many characters to play as. So it says you need to have Oddsock, so play that character. Unless you think, if you play Sackboy, you're not going to win. So, stuff like that.
They might be able to change your character on the fly, but I'm not sure how multiplayer is going to work.
And then Yoshida showed up.
Everyone was really happy about that.
Because when he shows up, something from Japan's coming out.
And not The Last Guardian, unfortunately.
No. Instead, he showed off a game that we've already known about, and we actually guessed about during our predictions video.
There was a leak called Project Beast from Software. We're assuming it was a new Demon's Souls.
Or Beast Souls or whatever
it was. And it turned out it was called Bloodborne.
Yep. So imagine, it was actually a CG trailer, so I'm just telling you, imagine watching the trailer that's out there that's leaked on the internet. Essentially it looks like a grimdark version of Dark Souls, which is saying something because Dark Souls is pretty damn grimdark.
Okay. Demon's Souls is more medieval. This is more Dark Ages, more of the plague, and everyone's turning into zombies, mutants, things. And
and I mean, they really didn't show enough to really give an idea, though they did show a game. There's apparently was playable demos, but behind the closed doors. And
of course.
Essentially, expect more Souls game experiences.
Not in a bad way. More fast, more speed.
Yeah, it looks good, but that's all you go by.
Really, I was just hoping for gameplay. They should have showed that leak trailer instead of the CG.
So then they came out with Far Cry 4.
Yes. Now, we saw the cinematic trailer in Ubisoft's conference. This time we have to see gameplay. This looks really cool, really cinematic. I love the flying mechanic. That was fun.
Yeah.
My only concern is with anything with Ubisoft is every time they show off a gameplay demo, it's very picture perfect. Like we want everything to happen right away. This elephant just ran to that car. Wow, that was spontaneous.
I didn't see that.
Where did I find this grappling hook? So I have to actually see the game when it comes out before I can make final judgment. But what I saw was nice.
Yeah, it looks good. I mean, the scale looks really good. So that's something I'm really looking forward to. I'm just not sure what I'm going to get out of it.
Yes, and also you can have 2-player come in.
And 2-player co-op. Which is
co-op is a big thing this year, right?
Yeah, very big thing in general. Then things shifted.
Yes.
I would say it shifted when Adam Boyes showed up. We did right before then, it was about games. Then Adam Boyes comes out and goes, hey, remember us talking about how we were all about the gamers?
We're all cool.
So you guys all sent us fan mail.
Yeah.
And here's fan mail that people wanted to see. A lot of zombies were at the top. Really?
I've seen so many zombies, I'm sick and tired of them.
Go back to Nazi.
But all of a sudden they go, okay, here's a zombie trailer for Talon II. Teaser.
There's a teaser trailer, very different style from what we saw from the original demo.
We're not seeing little girls jumping back into apartments. No, we're seeing this guy running and turning into a zombie. And I just thought it was weird that for fans, we want zombies, top of the list. I'm sorry, I want Crash Bandicoot.
Well, that's just you.
My opinion.
But it could be good. We just know that Deep Silver's obsessed with this franchise, so it's not like we weren't expecting another Dead Island game.
And then right after this, there was another fan letter. No, instead they just went to announcing some new Diablo III DLC, where you can go to a special dungeon, and there would be the Last of Us monsters in there.
It's cool, but I mean, it was not expected.
There's no tangent there, so there we go.
Hey, let's just talk about this for a second.
And since we're talking about Diablo 3, let's talk about Battlefield Hardline beta. I'm like, okay.
Are we trying to... Or is there even a segue to this?
Is there even a connection? I don't know.
I don't think there was.
It was the game being developed by somebody.
By somebody with third-party exclusivity.
And then then they also went on to talk about Disney Infinity 2.0.
Yeah, now they showed off Hulk Smash. He played it off very well, let me tell you, with that audio glitch.
Yeah. I don't know who was running the audio and cues and switching out the graphics and everything, but there was a problem with somebody there.
There were some issues.
Audio mics were getting cut, or getting low in volume, getting turned up really loud, not cutting properly, and it was like the Hulk Smash thing. Oh, and this is also, we should mention this since we're here, about how they kept saying console debut exclusivity.
Yeah, exclusive console debut.
What does that mean?
I'm going to start a list next year where I count the amount of times someone says, I am something to announce. Whether it's proud, excited, glad, thrilled. I think we're running out of things to say. And if they have said anything for those, as well as exclusive console debut. I'm gonna have a list of all the times that's said because that's hilarious.
It doesn't mean anything because you could just say we're getting our console debut here. So obviously you're going to be the first ones to do it because they're being debuted there. You don't need to tell us it's exclusive because when we hear the word exclusive, it means it's going to be only on that platform.
But it's not.
But that's not what you're saying because you're saying it's a debuting exclusively, which is weird.
Anyway, back to Disney Infinity 2.
Yes.
Disney Infinity 2. You got Hulk. You got exclusive console debut.
Basically, they're having a collector's edition that comes with Hulk, and then it sounds like Hulk will be coming out to the other platforms eventually. But the first time, it's only going to be available on the PS3 bundle. Now, does that mean you can buy the PS4 bundle, take out the Hulk, and play it on the other consoles? You never know.
And then they also mentioned Destiny again, but we already talked about Destiny.
We already talked about Destiny, exclusive content.
Yeah, and so after that, they go back to the letters. Hey,
finally! Remember those letters we talked about earlier? We're back.
A fan letter said, hey, we want to see new concepts going on in PlayStation. Okay, so let's talk about Paradox Interactive. Paradox Interactive, each of their teams are making an exclusive PS4 title, which could mean anything.
And here's the new game.
Magica 2.
That's so my only problem with that is it's a sequel. When we're asking for original
content, it's not really new content, but it's obviously a new game. So it looked. I mean, the trailer was a bit long. It was a joke trailer. It had maybe 10 seconds of gameplay, maybe, and then that was it. It was nice, but I mean, it still seemed odd to have this long, humorous trailer in the middle of here.
Back to the fan letters. We have this strange letter that's basically from a young girl who says, oh, I want old games, but I can't because they were back in the day.
Yeah.
Maybe Tim Schafer's games. That'd be great to play, and then turns out it's Tim Schafer.
Yeah. Tim Schafer wrote that letter from that 10 to 12-year-old girl. But it was a big announcement. They announced that Grim Fandango is being remastered for PlayStation consoles.
And, Vita.
And Vita. Well, Vita's a console now version. But also, of course, we found out that it might be coming to other platforms later, so this is probably a timed exclusive.
And they had nothing to show for it.
And they had nothing to show for it.
They had Tim Schafer's face and concept art from the original.
And they also had the logo. So I would suspect that this announcement was kind of just something that's just because they don't have enough stuff ready. It's coming out probably next year
at some point.
It was a great announcement, though.
It was a good announcement. Just that it was,
Yeah. So then we got a letter. So then we got an actual letter from someone saying they want to see more variety in Sony's platforms. And so they went and talked about Devolver Digital, which was the start of what we assumed to be their indie block.
Yes.
Now, Devolver Digital, we kind of already knew all their games were coming to Sony platforms already.
Force, Hotline
Miami. I mean, why would Hotline Miami not be on the Sony platform at this point? So it was kind of an expected montage, honestly. There were some announcements. I think Talos Principle had not been known to be coming to PS4 or anything like that, so this was a new announcement. Then they started talking about other games, like Let It Die from Suda51.
This was a game that originally was like an anime style, fighting off demons, completely changed. Now it's guys in their underwear killing each other for armor.
Yeah, it was like a kind of like a monochromatic style. It's a free-to-play game. You just beat each other up with with
found
objects, including a chainsaw and all this other stuff. It didn't really feel. I didn't feel it.
Well, they didn't even show much of the gameplay. It was more like just a live-action trailer.
Is Suda51 even directing this game? I almost feel that this is like
it's Grasshopper. I have no idea what it is. We'll have to see when they talk about it more.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed. Then there was the nice slick segue. You know what this game isn't like? Journey.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice segue there.
Yeah, so here we have the first game from Giant Squid, which is created by the ex-Journey director.
Journey art director.
And it was this game called Abzu. Which is basically Journey underwater. with a guy with a weird head.
It was like a camera head. I think it's a robot.
And you're going through the water, and it's really atmospheric, as you would expect.
Yeah.
And it looks really nice. A little slow, but then again, who knows?
Yeah, if it can match the mystique of what we saw in Journey, but with this underwater feel to
underwater world,
I think it can go some places.
Yeah.
Underwater places, of course.
Of course.
As much as we want to talk about that, there's a game that obviously stands above all of these games that Sony really wanted to emphasize.
They showed off 2 trailers.
2 trailers.
And they had the developer come out and talk a bit.
Yeah.
So clearly this is the one they want everyone to talk about.
No Man's Sky.
This was a huge game when they announced it at VGX. And this game is just this big world of space travel and exploration.
You mentioned it's infinite. Essentially, it's a procedurally generated space exploration game. Doesn't seem to be any real goal involved. It's really about traveling from one planet to another, finding things, exploring these worlds, the procedurally generated worlds, finding new species, new plants,
traveling, shooting in space.
The
more you look at it, the more you just want it. This
Yeah.
is definitely a game that you want to have a PS4 for, if it's not coming to anything else.
I'm sure it's making an exclusive console debut.
But this game looks amazing, and this is definitely a game that I think Sony's like, this game is good, and everyone's like, yeah, we knew about it.
The Witness wasn't even here.
And I think it's just a stark contrast from their previous game, which was Joe Danger.
Yeah.
Joe Danger, No Man's Sky. I'm like,
Joe Danger.
wow.
No Man's Sky.
That's like a
Excite Bike, procedure generated space
adventure. Wow, it's a complete difference. But we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely looking good. And then slows down again. Andrew House shows up and starts talking about technology. He mentions Project Morpheus, which I thought wasn't going to be discussed because it comes out next year.
You were wrong.
And
they talked about how there was 3 demos at the show floor, but we don't get to see anything.
We don't get to see anything. It's just like Nintendo with the 3DS. Whoa, you can't get to see what we're seeing.
Come on, guys, show us up something. Even like a screenshot.
Throw us a bone. And then they bring out Sean Layden.
And things slow down again.
He's the new president of Sony Computer Entertainment of America. He replaced John Trenton, and he was best known for having helped bring about Viv Ribbon.
Yeah, they showed it off. Viv Ribbon, yes, we're bring a Viv Ribbon game, and
no, of course not, because then Unshot doesn't really work with them anymore. But in the end, he was there to talk about
numbers.
Yay, numbers!
We love numbers, don't we? Please, no numbers, please.
So we talked about numbers, about who owns what, and people are using the PlayStation Plus numbers and whatnot.
Yada, yada, yada.
They talk about, hey, you guys like YouTube? It's coming to PS4.
Yeah, stream,
Let's talk about
stream, Twitch.
And Playroom DLC is coming this summer, and free to play.
That's right. Sony is bringing free to play to their platforms.
Or had been, because they already did it for
Well, they showed a montage trailer for it, and I loved how it went out. He first started by saying, these are free to play! And then
the trailer
starts, and a text appears saying, some of these features require a fee. Not free, now is it?
That was funny. But
yes.
at least he came out to talk about PlayStation Now.
Yes.
Or what's the mystery of PlayStation Now?
For some reason, Sony doesn't want to talk about PlayStation Now because they don't even know how to handle it.
I mean, they're saying that it's about playing their games anywhere on these platforms. They mentioned that PlayStation, like actual TV, PlayStation, Sony brand TVs are going to be able to play things through PlayStation Now. So now you no longer need to actually have a PlayStation device.
Unfortunately, the PlayStation Now is starting with PlayStation 3 games. We want CPS 1 and 2 games on there, Sony. Not PS3 games.
The funny thing about this is that we really don't know anything about the pricing schedule system or anything, because it's still about the beta, and everything's still closed.
People are saying that it's like from $2 to $20, and I'm like, $20 for a rental? No, that's not how it works.
But we won't know until it finally gets unveiled. But at least they talked about a new platform that does use PlayStation Now. PlayStation TV.
You mean PlayStation Vita TV?
No, they got rid of the Vita. I thought the game it wasn't being brought at all, and apparently it came back rebranded.
We were concerned that this was going to happen, but it did. I was like, yes, it's going to happen. And for me, the reason why they are Vita, by the way, is because Vita's pretty much dead. It's done. They're done with talking about Vita because even though they showed a thing like, look, Vita's still alive, you're pretty much not supporting it like everyone else support it. This device is $99, the PlayStation TV. It is just the device.
Just the device.
It doesn't come with the cables, it doesn't come with the controller, it doesn't come with the memory card, which we know is a Vita memory card, which costs a lot of money. And I'm like, so you can buy a bundle.
You can buy a bundle for $140, which comes with a controller, with that 8 gig memory card, and HDMI cable, and a digital copy of the Legos movie.
So it fills out the
memory card.
But it's the same. It's basically a Vita without the touchscreen buttons or anything like that. It's just plays your games for it. It has access to the digital distribution games. Yeah. So all those indie games that are on the system you can play, and it has access to remote play for PlayStation 4, which is a big thing they want to push.
Yeah, even PlayStation Vita was being heavily pushed as being about playing PS4 games on it.
Usually when they announce a new piece of hardware, it's like this huge spectacle. But here it's like they had still images and they announced the price and they said it was great. Everyone can now get access to it. Like, oh, that's cool.
Okay, but
you really don't show like you're really
putting your effort behind it.
It's not really a big announcement from you, but from behind, it's just kind of a, hey, we want to sell this thing for $99 so you can buy it.
You can buy it. Then they returned to actually talk about games again.
Good.
Thank goodness for that. They first talked about Mortal Kombat X, which was full gameplay footage for the first time because they weren't. It was exclusive gameplay trailer. Was it something like that?
I don't know, but it's better than the CG trailer we saw. Now, of course, it doesn't look as good as the CG trailer because it's actual gameplay footage, but it's actual gameplay footage.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cross-gen game, so I'm not expecting it to look immensely great, but it looks good either way.
Yes.
Obviously, the fatalities are there.
These guys, we've seen them, they're good at these kind of games. So we're happy to see them making more of them.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Now, unfortunately, that game was hey, here's a game, and now we're getting away from games. They spent 7 minutes talking about Powers. Television series show short thingamajig that's exclusive to PlayStation Plus
or PlayStation
or
devices
whatever, or something with something to do with Sony movies. And they had a guy come out, I think he was the writer, and he talked for 6 minutes about it, and it dragged. Everyone was like, how long is this going to last?
Can I walk out the door? Is this the last thing?
Is this their big announcement? Do we get to see a trailer? Do we get to see anything? No. Nothing.
You get all the episodes for free on PlayStation Plus.
Well, this was the lowest part of the conference.
This was the lowest part of the conference, right at the end.
And it was such a shame because it's the very end. Go away.
Ratchet and Clank has got a movie coming out.
I didn't like the trailer, honestly. The trailer was didn't look like a good movie trailer. It was just like, here's the characters you know in action scenes. And they also announced that they're making a remake of the first game to be more inclined to the movie.
Yeah, they didn't show a damn thing about it.
Nope, no footage, no nothing. That's going to be released alongside the game, the movie when it comes out sometime next year. Same thing. They didn't say anything about the
Sly Cooper movie.
Sly Cooper movie is apparently also coming out next year.
I suspect there's a Sly Cooper movie game as well. It's kind of weird if Sony licensed a movie to license a game. Movie the game the movie? No, the game the movie the game. There we go.
So then the next game come out was Last of Us Remastered. Now, you may all know my opinion on this, but the game came out last year!
Yeah, I mean, it did come out last year, but they're adding extra content. I mean, they're putting together the DLC. They're going to try and have some buyback service where they give you like $10 back if you had the PS3 version as well, as opposed to just making it cheaper.
And it will try to run at 60 frames per second.
High-end models. It's going to be a better version of the game.
I just feel bad for the people who bought PS3s to play this game, because now it's on PS4, you could just buy a PS4.
Well, they got plenty of backlog to catch up on the PS3 anyways.
I suppose.
We'll need to buy PlayStation now.
There you go. And then the next thing they showed off was Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain.
I think it's getting crazier and crazier.
The Metal Gear series story, I've just given up on it.
They're introducing new characters.
Is there going to be time travel next?
How long has this man been alive? It's like a time dilation where it's like, oh, by the way, you've been in a coma for 10 years. Really? In that 10 years, what games did I play? But in reality, it's supposed to be a sequel to Peace Walker, which happened in between. Like Portable Ops happened, I think, later after this. I'm not going to follow the story. It's out of our minds right now. It looks great.
It was a cinematic.
It looks great.
It was a cinematic trailer. It looks crazy as always.
Keith Sutherland had no vocalizations.
Clearly,
can't say anything in the game. Apparently,
Konami is putting all their eggs in one basket. I think this is the game.
This is the game. Hideo Kojima.
Here you go.
He's the golden goose.
There was another 5 they announced. This one, again, much like Remastered, with the remastered game, came out last year. Grand Theft Auto 5. Coming out for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and PC.
Now, we did know someone who actually went to the movie theaters and said that was the one that got the most applause.
Yes.
So, if you wanted to complain about double dipping, this might be the one.
Now, they said they're adding some new content and adding better graphics, but again, we're getting to a situation where, well, why did we buy last generation stuff if you're just going to release the new generation stuff?
Now, they emphasized that those that have Grand Theft Auto Online profiles on the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 will actually be able to upgrade them up to the PS4 version. So that's really nice.
Yes.
But really, I didn't really hear anything else about that. We have no deals, no specials. You're just going to give Rockstar double the money you gave them before.
And this is what problem I had with a cross-gen, especially when they're year apart games, is that people bought them because they wanted them immediately, are selling enough to spend additional $60 for the game again. If they come out with a collector's edition of this game coming out for $100, I'm going to be mad. I'm sorry, I'm just going to be mad.
Thankfully, we don't need to worry about cross-gen with Batman Arkham Knight.
No, this one is solely the new gen, and it looks great.
Yeah.
Visually, this game was like, wow. yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, it shows him at the top of a building, he jumps down, uses his cape, flies down and up somehow.
It's Batman.
It's Batman, and he goes into his Batmobile. It is kind of it feels like a Grand Theft Auto game, but better, because it's not really Grand Theft Auto.
And then also, all of a sudden, it turns to a tank, which strafes. A strafing tank.
That's what we're looking for.
Wow.
That's what we're looking for. That's new gen right there.
And, I mean, there's fighting, there's battles, then they show off the Scarecrow shows up. We were worried because all the
there's a little glitch there.
glitches, and we're like, is this the conference? Because
okay.
with all this audio sounds, this could be part of the conference. And it turned out it was planned. We're like, okay, everything's cool. This game looks good.
It looks really good.
This game looks, I mean, the Arkham series was very well done. And this game looks, they're taking it home. This is the last one.
It's better be the last one. I'm not saying the series is bad. I'm just saying it needs to die. It needs to die. It needs to end. It needs to end.
It's running its course. If it goes on any further, it's going to be just spinning its wheels.
Yeah.
Let's finish it off in a good note, which looks like it's doing, and we'll be happy.
Yeah. And then they decide to end it with
a bang.
Actually, they didn't really end it with a bang, per se, because this is one of the most obvious guesses you can make.
We were expecting this, but everyone wanted it, and they did. They delivered.
Uncharted 4, A Thief's End.
Yes, it was a CG trailer. No, it wasn't a CG.
It wasn't CG trailer.
It was in-game of Nathan Drake waking up on a shoreline, he had a cut on his head, and you hear dialogue
with him and
Sully basically saying, like, oh, you kid, you're old, you can't do this anymore. He's like, oh, but I have to. Get me back in the game. You know you're crossing here, blah, blah, blah. Loads his gun, walks to the forest, let's do this one last time.
One last time.
Pans over, skeletons in a cage.
That was nice. But, as predicted, it's not even coming out this year.
No, it's still got another year to go.
It's got a ways to go, and we didn't get a lot to go for, other than the fact that it's going to take place in a jungle. And
and based on how the Uncharted series can jump around, you might be there for 5 minutes.
He's going to end up in the Antarctic, and he's going to end up in a forest, and he's going to end up in a lava pit. I don't know. He's going to end up in space, I'm guessing.
Now, I really like the Uncharted series, so I'm excited to see what they take for.
Yeah.
You know, it's called The Thief's End, so this probably is the end of the Uncharted franchise.
Yeah. And that ended the conference.
That was a good ending.
That was a long conference.
A long hour and 40 minutes.
It was... okay, no, don't get me wrong. The beginning was really good. It was game announcement after game announcement. People came out and showed off game demos. But then when Adam Boyd showed up and started talking about the fan mail, the narrative started getting stretched.
It's kind of like they had all these great announcements. They could have just kept announcing games, but they wanted to make it stretch to the hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So they kind of had this whole, like, hey, here's a letter we got from a fan. Here's a game that goes along with this letter.
Yeah.
You really don't need to do that. I mean, for any other conference, you could just announce Dead Island 2 and that'd be it.
Yeah.
No, they had a letter, and they announced Diablo III DLC. They didn't have a letter for that. Same thing with the Battlefield Hardline, or even the Disney Infinity.
And then when Layden showed up, and he showed off, all the random announcements and numbers, that took a long period of time. Powers discussion was long.
Powers.
Arguably, the worst part of the show was the fourth, fifth of the show. That chunk destroyed any momentum that was being developed in the previous sets.
And even like talking about the PlayStation Now and the PlayStation TV, everything just felt like kind of
there.
Like, especially PlayStation Now, it didn't feel like they had any concrete details.
Or like it was like they weren't selling it well. I'd say
they were just like, you guys want it, well here it is. Now let's move on. And it's like, well, duh. So
if I had to say anything about Sony's conference, there's really good announcements in the midst here. Let's not joke around.
Cut the fat.
But they really needed to edit it, and there were some things that really need to edit down. Powers particularly, but editing will do you good, Sony.
In fact, like, if they had just done, because the last part was so fast with all these announcements, I'm like, why is everything so fast? If we just cut Powers out, or if we just trimmed all that extra dialogue about the fan mail, we could have gone through this in like an hour and 20 minutes or less.
Yeah.
And it would have been more solid, and I would have had a much better experience with this conference.
So overall, it was good, but it was
long.
But it was long, especially at points. So how did our bingo go? Well, almost. Actually, very almost. That's just way to put it. We actually, by the way, the red represents what was announced at the conference. The black represents what was kind of there at the show in general. Even including those, we had about 3 or 4 situations where we could have gotten some sort of bingo. So they didn't announce an exclusive Resident Evil. We thought there was a rumor that like Resident Evil 7 or something was going to be announced. It never did. I noticed they didn't mention sales talk because they didn't actually talk too heavily about the sales. It was more about subscription than anything. They didn't have an indie block that lasted more than 10 minutes. The indie games, really, if you start from Devolver, which really was a publisher, so I didn't really count it, even including all those, it was more about a 7-minute thing. It wasn't, in my eyes, about a 10-minute block. But it was very close, I would say. And the Shadow of the Beast, which was announced at it was announced at Gamescom last year. I thought it was going to be shown off here. It wasn't. That was an oddity there. And The Last Guardian, which, of course, would most certainly never be shown at this event. And, of course, even if the sales talk was there, we had no PS Vita TV as
which is your fault. And the Morpheus details, which was your fault as well. Yeah. No Sly Cooper, that one was surprising, especially since they talked about Ratchet and Clank's movie. And if they announced a new Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, I was surprised. So yeah, that's pretty much it for our bingo cards.
So we didn't win.
But we got really close a lot. So not so bad as we
were worried because as we were going through this conference, we're like, we got nothing on this card.
Nothing, guys.
And then all of a sudden, that last chunk, the last 5 minutes, we're like, wow, there's all our stuff.
So anyway, that's Sony. Click on the right side to go to Nintendo's, not really press conference, but a digital event. Click on the left side to go see what we thought about Ubisoft's. And the bottom, there's some links to our other videos.
See you there.
Or don't. I mean, I'm just saying.
No.
I'm not going to be offended. I mean, you're going to be offended?
I might be offended at you.
Oh, well, I'm already offended.